Hi friends, this is Discover with Jane, and today we're going to talk about the hot topic. Yes, the Olympic marketing is all over the place. In this video, I'm uncovering the business side of the Olympic Games, learning how the Games show bigger trends in the economy and society. And we're going to look at the best and trendiest marketing campaigns and a couple interesting scandalous topics. Yeah, while researching for this newsletter, I've come across several interesting stories and a couple of scandals, so stay tuned and let's go. The modern Olympics are designed not only for fun and games, but also as a business. Even in 1896, when the first modern games were held, they had sponsored souvenirs which helped cover at least part of the game's costs. Events of this scale have a great impact on the economics. This year, a new word has occurred, Swiftonomics, and it actually means how Taylor Swift's tours drive the economy. Taylor Swift's Eras Tour has been a phenomenal success, including the economies of the cities where it was held. For the US economy, the total contribution was $5.7 billion. And if Taylor Swift was an economy, she would be bigger than that of 50 countries. And the Olympic budgets are even bigger than Taylor Swift. Every single Olympics since 1960 has gone over budget. Adjusted to inflation, the average overlay is 172%, but it's really hard to measure. You can come across different budgets for the same games because it really depends on what is included into the budget and also the level of honesty. The example of going over budget is, of course, 2014 Olympics in Sochi, which are reported to be over $50 billion. The 2022 Winter Games in Beijing cost only $4 billion according to Chinese authorities, but as calculated by Business Insider, they could be 39 billions. Many cities have competed for hosting the events. But this fierce competition to be the Olympic hosting city has not always been the case. For example, in the beginning of the 1980s, the Olympics were on the crossroads. This was partly because of the mentioned budgeting issue, and on the second part, it was because of terrorism in both 1968 and 1972 Olympic Games. And here came one of the most important figures in modern Olympics. His name is Peter Ueberroth. Hopefully I pronounce his last name right. Peter Ueberroth was the president of Los Angeles 1984 organizing committee, and he is said to be the father of the modern business model of the Olympic Games. Firstly, the Los Angeles 1984 Olympics were the first games that were made on a private budget. The city of Los Angeles declined to be the budget responsible authority, but since the International Olympic Committee didn't have other bidders, they pretty much had no choice but to allow this event to be privately budgeted. What else he has done differently is that he tried to make as much as possible out of television rights. During that time, television was particularly on the rise, and the main television sponsorship has helped cover approximately half of the Olympic budget. And Los Angeles Games have come into history as the only Olympic event so far that has achieved operating profit. Peter Ueberroth was a businessman. He was on boards of different companies, including Coca-Cola and Hilton Hotels. This was already after the Olympic organization, but before that, he has founded and sold a private travel company, which became a second travel company in the United States back then. So after selling his own company for $10 million, he organized the Olympics as a great business with great sponsors, and since him, the sponsorship model has become the key model of the Olympic business. Right now, the situation with large budgets is kind of repeating itself. And it was especially clear that the pandemics have impacted the 2020 Olympic Games that were delayed a year, and they were, of course, over budget. In 2021, Brisbane, Australia, the 2032 Summer Games host became a city winning an Olympic Games bid unopposed, first since LA in 1984. While the scale is remarkable and the economy impact includes bringing more tourists, bringing more attention to the country, and boosting the economy with extra spending, it's not only positive, this impact. So not all Olympic costs are made equal. Some of the infrastructure, like roads and airports, is used later by the citizens, but the large stadiums and specific facilities for those super large events usually stay idle after the games, and they also require a lot of money to support. For example, the Beijing's bird's nest requires 10 million a year to maintain, and it has been standing idle from 2008 to 2022 when it was reused. In Montreal, the Olympic Stadium, known as the Big O, has been jokingly renamed the Big Oaf because of its massive cost. And in Greece, which hosted the 2004 Olympics, the Olympic costs are even said to be the reason for the economic crisis in 2009. So, what about the Paris budget? The Paris budget is said to be humble. It's a little bit shy of $10 billion. We'll see how they managed to stay in the budget. The games are just beginning when I'm recording this video. Also, Paris opening ceremony, which was yesterday, is the first ceremony of Olympics opening which was not on the stadium, but instead it was using the city itself. So the Seine riverbanks, the bridges, and the location under the Eiffel Tower. So the costs are kind of modest, and Paris also has 34 worldwide premium and official partners and 50 official supporters. So these games are really relying heavily on different kinds of sponsors, and we're going to talk more about them in this video. But before we actually turn to marketing campaigns, let's talk about the trends. And the first one is related to digitalization of the economics. Paris 2024 is supposed to be one of the most digital Olympics in history. Do you remember the situation with television in 1984 Olympic? If in the beginning of the 1980s television was on the rise, right now it's giving place to social media. TikTok has become an official partner of the games. YouTube is also sending its bloggers to follow the games and report on this platform. And what this means is not only that the social media are winning as a channel, but they are also making the Olympics a truly global movement. Instead of watching a single event or a series of events, people are making those small videos. They are making their localized events, localized campaigns, for example, to support a certain athlete. And this is becoming a decentralized movement spread across the world, spread across different channels and different regions. A fact that surprised me is there is one particular event that is held not only outside of Paris, but also outside of France. And this is surfing. All of the Olympic events are held in Paris or Marseille, which is the home to water sports like sailing. But surfing is held more than 9,000 kilometers from France, in Tahiti. And those surfers have a floating Olympic village, which is interesting and exciting, but rumors are they sleep on cardboard beds there, so it's kind of weird. Olympics have always been a movement and a statement of peace, a statement of unity, and a statement of equality. So at these Olympics, we see all of those. We see a lot of liberty, a lot of bold statements, a lot of colors, a lot of flashy moments, but also we see a place for social agenda. The 2024 are the first Olympics where female participation has proudly reached 50% of all athletes. So, go girls, women power. Global wars and conflicts always have somewhat a reflection on the Olympic Games, and these games are not an exception. As the war between Russia and Ukraine is still ongoing, only 15 Russian athletes will compete in Paris, but not under their own flag. They will be labeled neutral athletes. They're not allowed to use their flags and anthems, and the International Olympic Committee will provide them a neutral emblem and something like a generated anthem, but we'll see what it's gonna look like. As many of you know, I'm originally from Russia, and while I do not support the war, I am interested in the fate of Russia's people and Russia's athletes, being a sports person myself. And I was wondering why the number of athletes is so low. Well, yeah, they cannot represent the country, but why cannot they represent themselves? So I Googled a little bit and understood that the athletes are threatened by their own federations from participation, and many of them are scared, unfortunately, to face sanctions in the country later on. Sustainability is part of the modern agenda, and Olympics are not an exclusion. Paris 2024 is setting a new standard for sustainable Olympic Games. They are aimed at reducing the carbon emissions by half. The carbon assessment remains unclear. Also, there are some cheesy campaigns. For example, Coca-Cola has been saying that their caps will be environmental friendly. However, the Coca-Cola company remains one of the biggest plastic polluters on this planet so far. Change of marketing channels and TikTokification. The Olympics are becoming not an event and even not a series of events. It's becoming a constant flow of information and of little snapshot moments. And TikTok is becoming the biggest broadcast channel of the Olympics. And it's not limited to advertisers. The organizing committee for Paris 2024 is also using social channels like TikTok to amplify its messaging. And I've asked my Instagram subscribers, and many people agreed that they are not going to be watching the opening ceremony. They are going to be just watching the recaps. And I need that too. National teams are also highly present and visible on TikTok. Team Great Britain officially partners with TikTok. Team Canada and their partner Lululemon dropped their Paris 2024 collection on the platform. And Team USA first released their promotional film on this platform. Even the Olympic broadcaster NBC Universal is giving TikTok, Snapchat, YouTube, Meta, and Overtime front and center access to all the materials and is promoting its events on social media. The stories and spirit this time have been beyond inspiring. The game demonstrates that age is just a number. A 58-year-old debutante in table tennis. Simone Biles, being one of the oldest gymnasts, is the darling of these games. While in 2020, she faced mental health problems and had to step down. She's coming back strong and sharing the team space with one of the youngest gymnasts with whom they have more than 10 years apart, which is nice. And now to the Olympic marketing. And the first trend I've noticed are the cross-industry collaborations. Well, this time, the Olympics being in Paris, the capital of fashion, we can really say that these are one of the fashionable games of all time. Nike and Jacquemus are proving that sport isn't simply about performance. It's also an expression of style. Paris 2024 medals are designed by a jeweler Seine from the LVMH house, which is also the sponsor of the games. Another interesting story is the Airbnb case. Since 2019, Airbnb has established a very strong collaboration with the International Olympic Committee. It does not only make Airbnb the official sponsor of the games, but also an accommodation provider for the Olympic movement until 2028. And here is to the next trend, offline plus online. I've already mentioned the opening ceremony, which was held in the city that was really a participant of the opening ceremony. So the city itself, with its bridges, the Seine, the Eiffel Tower, has been a participant of the opening ceremony. And it's reflected in the marketing campaigns. LVMH is going for the Paris 2024 Olympics with its rooftops campaign, capturing the magic of the games. And the stunning backdrop of Paris is a source of inspiration there. The next marketing trend is multiformat. To capture and retain the audience's attention, the brands use different mediums. Short videos that have already been mentioned. Also podcasts discussing stories of the Olympic athletes. Email marketing. Even here, in this highly visual environment, email is valid. And to show the fabulous moments of sport, the email incorporates video playback. And now to the rumors. These two facts are completely insane, especially after what I've been telling about them. So TikTok, one of the official partners and one of the broadcasting mediums of the game, cannot call Olympics by their name. The rules of using the official Olympic symbolics and naming are really complicated, and TikTok does not have a right to them. And neither does it for the Euro 2024. And that's why they just simply say Summer Games and European Football Tournament. The Seine River is in the middle of the Olympic Games. But is it safe for the athletes? It's been a while ago, but this toilet campaign is kind of bold. It was tied to the statement of the officials that the mayor of Paris is gonna swim in the Seine. And she did. But despite all of the statements, and despite 1.5 billion investment into cleaning the sewage systems, tests reveal that unsafe bacteria are still present in the water. There are alternatives in place, and closer to the swimming events, we'll find out where do those athletes finally swim. And what interesting rumors have you heard about the current Olympics? Share in comments what surprised you. Thank you for watching this video. I think I'm gonna make another one after the games to see what else has been creative, provocative, and trendy. Until then, subscribe to Discover with Jane, both the YouTube channel and the newsletter, and see you next week.